everyone, this is Miss P, and this is a review of dividing a decimal by a decimal using the problem 24 hundredths divided by 3/10. So whenever we have a problem that involves dividing decimals, the first thing we have to ask ourselves is the divisor a decimal? So in this case, our divisor is 3/10 and our dividend is 24 hundredths. Both of the numbers in this division problem are decimals, but we always should just double check that divisor. And in this case, it is a decimal, so we have to approach the problem a little bit differently because in order to start dividing, we should make sure our divisor is a whole number. So to begin that process, we should write the problem in a way that's a little bit easier to solve. Here we have 24 hundredths divided by 3/10. Because we have already determined that our divisor is a decimal number, we know that we are going to have to begin by multiplying that divisor by powers of 10 until it becomes a whole number, or until the decimal point reaches the end of the digits. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this number of 3/10 and we are going to multiply it by a power of 10. When we multiply it by 10, we'll move the decimal place one place to the right, changing the place value and making the divisor, in this case, a whole number. But we always have to make sure that we do to the inside of this problem, to the dividend, the same thing that we've done to the divisor. And since we multiplied the divisor by 1 power of 10, we're also going to have to multiply the dividend by 1 power of 10. So in this case, we should take this number of 24 hundredths and multiply it by 1 power of 10. We will move the decimal point one place to the right, changing the place value, but we only multiply it by 1 power of 10. Even though the dividend number is still going to include a decimal, that's okay for our purposes. We just have to make sure we do the exact same thing to the dividend that we did to the divisor. And in this case, that was multiplying it by 1 power of 10. After multiplying both the divisor and dividend by 1 power of 10, the problem becomes 2 4/10 divided by 3. We see that our divisor here is a whole number, and so we're ready to proceed. Now remember, when our divisor is a whole number but the dividend still includes a decimal, we have to do something very important, and that is we have to move this decimal up to the quotient. When we place this number in the quotient, it makes sure that the digits are going to be in the right place value for our ultimate quotient or answer in this problem. So let's begin by taking this divisor of 3 and asking how many times does it go first into 2? Well, we know 3 doesn't go into 2, so to make sure we have the right numbers in the quotient, we can go ahead and put a 0 right up there before the decimal point, a 0 in what turns out to be the ones place. Next, we multiply our 0 by our divisor of 3, which gives us 0. 2 minus 0 is 2, and then we can bring down the 4. That gives us the number of 24. So how many times does 3 go into 24? If you know your multiplication facts and your 3's times table, you know that 3 times 8 equals 24. So here in the 10ths place, I'm going to put 8. Next, I'll multiply 8 times my divisor of 3, which gives me exactly 24, and leaves nothing left over for us to worry about. Our final answer is 8/10. 24 hundredths divided by 3/10 equals 8/10.